How are you doing? It's Catherine, and it is day 11 of Designer December with Tangent Templates. So I hope you're having a great day. Today we have a really fun addition to Tangent Templates, and it is vision boards. So last year, back in Lowvember, one of the templates that we created for you was actually a vision board. And we got so much feedback from that. You guys really enjoyed using that we thought this is such a versatile tool that we would include a bunch of them in the interior designer so you can really create your own pages using them. Now, vision boards can be used for all kinds of different things. At their heart, they're really just a way to lay out information. So they're perfect for brainstorming, planning, anything like that. And the idea is, here's your board. So let's say you're creating like a pregnancy planner or a wedding planner, something like that. Let's say a pregnancy planner, baby planner. What you can do is you draw your vision board, you can make it big. Now, remember that this is the 8.5 by 11 inch size that we're looking at the moment, US letter size. But actually with Tangent Templates, we support all of the default sizes that KDP offers. So all the 16 trim sizes. So in fact, you can see here, there's even square sizes. You can do a square size there. And in fact, if we go back to the interior designer, you can also do this one here, the 8.5 by 6. That's actually a landscape size. So there is one landscape size there as well, which is kind of fun to design on actually. If we go and grab these vision boards, you can sort of see how they look on a landscape page. And I think this is really good for coaches and life coaches, people who are creating workbooks. It's kind of fun to do that landscape size. Might also be fun for kids as well. You can use this. I mean, this can grab your imagination. You can put all kinds of headers in here to organize information, keep your thoughts in order. So let's go back to my other design here. As I said, if we were doing something like a pregnancy planner, what we could do is put headers on these. Let's use that font there, make it a little bit smaller. So you could do things like brainstorming for the baby. You could do, I don't know, baby names, and we could put that in a space. We could do nursery ideas maybe for how to decorate the nursery, clothes, I don't know, hospital bag. It's a great place for like an expectant mother to sort of jot down any ideas she's thinking about and just have everything on one page. Another way I like to use these is to create like a full spread across 2 pages. So I'll show you how to do that. If you go to vision boards, what you can do is, and I like to do it with these like really big boards here. We can put this here to make the left-hand side. Let's make it quite big. I'm going to put notes down the side. So let's just put a space here. And I'm going to fill this with graph paper. So let's do that. Oh, we want to line this all up. So I'm going to size that there. Okay, that looks good. And what I can do is, you can see that's the page 6. I'm going to duplicate that page. So now we're going to work on page 7. And I'm going to flip this so it's a mirror image. And I'm going to grab all this graph paper, move that over there, make sure it stays aligned there, and just move that here. So there we go. So now if you look, you can see you've got page 6, page 7. That makes a nice spread. So when you open up your book like that, you have a big giant vision board to write on. So that would be a really fun thing to put at the start of your planners. And as I say, you can niche this for anything. So I mean, if you're doing a baby one, you can put sort of headers related to babies, pregnancy. If you're doing weddings, you could put, I don't know, bridesmaids, dresses, flowers, invitations, and just, it's like a giant brainstorming page. This works really well on the bigger sizes like 8.5 by 11. I know it looks kind of small on the screen, but if you imagine a full size of paper, the US letter size, you can see that there'd actually be quite a lot of space for you to write in that. So let's have a look at some of the other ideas I've made here. So I know a lot of you are into the kind of the woo, the magic, visualizing things. I thought this was kind of a fun design here. I created magical goals. And I used some of the other images that are in Tangent templates. So for this one, I used one of our trees, and I love these images. They're so pretty. They just look nice with everything. I also used some of these stars and just rotated them around and moved them around so they looked kind of like they were coming out of the tree in a magical fashion. But you can have a lot of fun with this. I know one lady asked me about, she said, "Oh, Catherine, you're always drawing on the screen and I'm not quite sure what you're doing." So what I like to do when I'm selecting things, I tend to group select like that. So all I'm doing is holding down my mouse and selecting several images. You can also hold down Shift and select several images like that. And then what you can do, we have all these alignment tools here. So you can use these to actually line things up to the side. You can line them up from top to bottom. And we even have stack elements, which is kind of fun. If you stack them, they go left to right like that. So have fun with the alignment and the distribute options. I really like them for if you're making lists, and they work really well for things like lines as well. So I like to use alignment on things like these where I have lines just to make sure they all line up correctly. So what I'll usually do is align them to the left using horizontal, and then I will distribute them to make sure that they are evenly spaced. So like if that one's, I don't know, if that one's there, and let's say this one's here, you can see these are a little wonky. So what I'll do is select them all, and then I'm just going to go left align there and distribute evenly, and hopefully, yeah, they're all back in the right place. So that's how I use the alignment. I know one lady was asking me about that, so hopefully that's demystified it. So let's look at a few other ways to use these images, these vision boards. You can see with this one, I kind of had a very practical approach. I treated it as a shopping list and just thought, well, this is kind of a fun way to lay out a shopping list. My thought with this is that the shape kind of fit really well with the idea of healthy eating. So you want people to eat lots of produce, so you give that a nice big space, and then maybe they have meat, dairy, and then treats is just a little space in the corner. Of course, I'm not a dietitian, because if I set out a diet plan, it would probably involve a lot of cupcakes. But there we go. There's one way to use this as a kind of shopping list. And I did something fun there. I put like a little mantra there. So if you're creating your own sort of diet plan or something like that, something very practical, a workout plan, these vision boards are a really fun way to lay that out. Another way I use these in kind of a practical way, I guess this is a sort of visualizing method, is this is a page for really marketers, people teaching marketing. If you're creating a workbook, if you're a coach who's teaching marketing, this would be a really fun way to get people to just think about their overall strategy. So you can see down here, there's a space for strategy. And I've made smaller spaces where they can brainstorm their Facebook strategy, their YouTube, the videos they want to put on there, their artwork, their audience, anything like that. It just gives them a space to organize their thoughts. And because you're the book creator and the book author, this is really good if you want people to sort of organize their thoughts in a particular way. So this is really, really good for coaches, teachers, educators. Another thing you can do that's kind of fun and I like doing is putting in areas of like dot grid. So you can do that here. You just draw a box there and you can select dot grid. And with the dot grid, you can actually customize it to make the dots further apart or closer together. I know it doesn't show up super well on the page, but if we actually zoom in, you can see the dots are there. And it looks really fun in a diary as well. So you can add your own areas of lines or dots or even graph paper to your designs like that. So another design that I've created using the vision boards is this one on a black background. And the way I did it, because our images are not filled, what I did was I drew a white block and then I put the vision board on top of it. So you can see there, that's actually a white space. And then I put the vision board on top of it there. And I did the same thing here with this writing space. I drew a white block and then I drew another box with the lines over the top there. So you can do kind of creative things like that. And to decorate it, I used these star images, which again, you can find here under stars. We have lots of pretty stars. And you can rotate them around to make them look sort of different and interesting. So one more design I did. This has a very hand-drawn feel, very bullet journal feel to it. But I know a lot of people love the whole manifest vibe. And this really is a vision board of just imagining love, imagining success. It would be a fun thing to put at the beginning of a bullet journal for people to keep there as their vision for the year. So these vision boards work really, really well in planners at the beginning of a month, the beginning of a week, the beginning of a year, or for particular niches, as I say, especially niches that deal with a process, like having a baby, getting ready for a journey, a trip, a holiday, maybe even something like going to hospital, going into rehab, anything where there's a process involved. These vision boards can work really, really well for helping people sort of think about that. Oh, one other thing before I go. I know I mentioned this design with the black background, and every time I talk about black pages, there's kind of a debate about them. I've had good luck doing pages with black backgrounds. I've been happy with the way they're printed. I've shown this one before, actually. If you have a look, this is a book I made that just has some examples of white on black. And the great thing with this, you don't actually have to pay for a colour book. So this is cheap to create with KDP. It's the same price as doing a black and white book. It is just a black and white book. I've had good luck. When I look through this book, I don't see any unevenness at all. I know some people, especially in Europe, have reported that every so often they get a book that doesn't print as high quality as they'd like. They see some waviness in the black. What I would suggest is test it. Like, order a book and maybe order a couple of copies. They're like $3 each. Have a look at it and make sure you're happy with it. And if you feel comfortable with it, I think they're great. I am not afraid of doing books with black backgrounds. I think you can get some really cool effects with them. One thing I would say in tangent templates, if you're doing this, the way I do a black background is I just draw a big black box on the back. And I always recommend just checking your margins. Turn off the margins for a moment. You can do that under current project, margin settings, but just to make sure the box fills all the space. Because what you don't want is something like that, because that white space at the top is going to look kind of wonky in your book. So you want to make sure the black fills up the whole space. So I hope you have a lot of fun with these designs. I think these vision boards are really, really versatile. There's so much you can do with them. And we've put a lot of different styles in here. So you can play with these. You can put multiple vision boards on a page. If you wanted to measure different things, like you could use several of these circles and put different topics in them. Also use them to color. I mean, you could put a bunch of these on a page and like even create patterns with them or spaces with them. I'm sure you can get really, really creative. I think they also make good game boards or maps for kids. Some of them like this, this kind of reminds me of like a room layout, like in Clue or something like that. So maybe you could come up with a game for kids using these designs, but I think you can have a lot of fun with them. I hope you enjoy mixing and matching them with all the images and tools we already have in Tangent Templates. And I will be back tomorrow with day 12. So have fun with your vision boards, guys. Bye.